Since late 2022, a plague of fraudulent spark drivers and bots have been a growing scourge to legitimate spark drivers across the United States. The most often requested cure to this plague was that all spark drivers be required to show identification whenever they're picking up orders and ensure it matches the driver's name in the app and in Walmart systems. Now, Walmart Spark recently made a TOS change that technically allows for this to happen, but is it really the solution people think it is? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down that TOS update. I'm going to share a couple other updates that they snuck in there that nobody is talking about. And stay tuned to the end of the video to find out how I know that Walmart Spark is listening to and watching what content creators are saying. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. So a week or two ago, when I logged on to the Walmart Spark app, I had to agree to a TOS update if I wanted to continue making money. So I read through the TOS and I took screenshots of the most interesting parts, highlighted by the policy most drivers have asked for and have been talking about. Spark drivers now have the possibility or the consent to being ID'd when they're doing orders. But what does this really mean when the rubber meets the road? Alright, so I'm going to read this out just to be clear on what exactly it says. You agree to show your unexpired, valid driver's license issued by a state in the US showing your name and your photo upon request by a Walmart associate or other retail associate to verify your identity. Paper licenses, pictures and or digital copies or photos of your license or other documents may be insufficient to meet this service level standard. So the biggest thing here, I think, is just two words: upon request. Let's break down what that really means. It's an option, it's not mandatory for them to request it. Upon request, you have to provide ID. The number one thing Walmart cares about is getting the most orders delivered. So if the orders are getting delivered, there's a lot of times they're not going to request it. Additionally, a lot of people don't like confrontation. So even if you tell somebody to request it, they may not request it. Walmart Spark is a separate division from the Walmart store. So even if Walmart Spark says, yes, you have the option to request it and they have to provide it, if the store manager says, if you request it, you're fired, people ain't gonna request it because they got families to feed. Now, on the other side of the coin, depending on the store specifically, the part of the country you're in, how much of a problem that store has with the fraudulent Spark drivers, if they want to request it, they have the green light in the sense that, hey, if they want to request it, you have to show it. They don't have to drop the order to that person that doesn't provide ID upon request, and they can technically be deactivated because they're breaking the terms of service by not showing their IDs upon request. In any case like this, when it comes to fraud, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And I just read a story, and actually I mentioned that this could happen, or that this was going to happen in a previous video, but now it's confirmed. There are people who are getting tax documents because of fraud from gig work that they've never done, because of so much fraud being allowed in gig work. Now, in my market, they've never requested ID. At least at the stores that I go to in my market, I've never been requested ID, but my stores know me, so why would they request ID for me? But what if I told you that this wasn't even the craziest thing in the update? Now, when I started going through these TOS changes, I started looking at some other things a little closer. And as far as things that Walmart would sneak in there, you'll never guess what I found. So do you remember how in the previous video I mentioned that a Walmart Spark driver in the state of Washington was suing Walmart Spark for the ability to become employees, which I thought was kind of a dumb idea. But nonetheless, they were trying to get a class action lawsuit together to sue Walmart Spark for the ability to become employees in the state of Washington. Now, with this terms of service update, if anybody else wanted to do a class action lawsuit, they no longer have the ability. By accepting this TOS update, Walmart Spark drivers no longer have the ability to bring a class action lawsuit against Walmart. So I think somebody even made a video recently about them confirmed stealing tips. Now, for example, if you wanted to make a class action lawsuit about that, you don't have that ability. Now, on top of that, let's talk about some other rights you no longer have by accepting that TOS update, buddy. They also have a policy now: no harassment, discrimination, retaliation. Be careful. I know a lot of y'all out there in the parking lot doing a lot of video. Be careful out there. They also clarified their firearms policy. You agree that you will not unlawfully carry a firearm. Yes. Don't illegally carry guns. Bad if you do that. And will not make visible to others any lawfully carry firearms while performing services with the Spark app. So they're trying to say that you can't open carry while you're doing Spark. But I live in Arizona. This is the Wild Wild West. Everybody open carries out here because, you know, It's the Wild Wild West. And we're big fans of the Second Amendment out here. Now, this next section I found interesting because this is literally what all the fraudulent spark drivers are not doing. And this is what it says: people will be banned for doing these things. I'm just going to go through the list, and you'll know when you hear what you're looking for. Be age 18 or older. Provide your true and accurate name, phone number, email address, mailing address, and social security number. Be authorized to perform services as an independent contractor in the United States. Have an unexpired valid driver's license in your name issued by a state in the United States. Talk about verifying your identity, talk about in the selfie, the mobile phone number, yada, yada, yada. But you know the fraudulent drivers don't got all that squared away. I'm just saying. And then this last part, this is how I know like a Walmart is watching the content that creators are making. So they have these two little things about content, about Walmart's right to use content ideas and then prohibited content. So I'm going to read this out. You grant to Walmart a royalty-free, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, unlimited, non-exclusive license to use, reproduce, create derivative works from, modify, publish, edit, translate, distribute, perform, and display, publicly or otherwise, any content that you make available in any media or medium, in any form, format, or forum, now known or hereafter developed. Like, basically you're signing your rights away. I'm guessing this is if anybody's a Walmart influencer, if there's such thing as a Walmart influencer program. I don't know. I don't get no money from Walmart. You further agree that Walmart is free to use any ideas for any purpose. Walmart may sub-license its rights and content ideas through multiple tiers of sub-licenses. Walmart is and will be under no obligation to maintain any content or idea in confidence, to pay any compensation for any content or idea, to respond to any content or idea. You grant to Walmart the right to use any name associated with any content or idea that you make available to Walmart, although Walmart has no obligation to exercise such right or to otherwise provide any attribution for any content or idea. So just for the record, Walmart, I'm not making any content available to you. So whatever all this shit is, this don't apply, period. But I find it interesting that they put all of this in here. Basically, they got something going on that they're cooking up, that they're watching, that they're doing. And they know that there's some value in what us content creators are doing and what we're talking about. You know, I don't think it's a coincidence that as we talk more and more about their fraudulent activities of the spark drivers, you're seeing more and more policies and updates on the behalf of Walmart Spark. You just can't tell me those are unrelated incidents. And then this last part, prohibited content. You agree that you will not make available content in connection with the Spark app that is false, fraudulent, inaccurate, or misleading, contains your full name or any other confidential, personally identifiable information on yourself or others. Yeah, John Dash ain't my real name, FYI. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Is protected by or would infringe on rights of others, including Walmart, yada, yada, yada. But basically, between those last two things, you can't tell me that Walmart isn't watching the content creators are making, that they're not trying to find a way to get their fingers in it and or potentially penalize us if we're saying the wrong things. So if you're a content creator that's making Walmart Spark content, I would make sure that you definitely protect your personal information. But the bottom line is Walmart made a lot of changes. They added in those TOS, and most people didn't read them, so most people agreed with them without knowing what they were agreeing to. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did I just like sign away my future by accepting this TOS and then continue to make Walmart Spark content? Do they basically own me? Do I need to buy more lube? Let me know in the comment section down below. But at the end of the day, what does this really mean to us hardworking, legit, honest Walmart Spark drivers like you and I? At the end of the day, all these changes are basically a continuation of the purge that I talked about in this video. You know, I think there'll probably be some downward pressure on fraudulent Walmart Spark drivers depending on the city and state, depending on the local feelings about fraudulent spark drivers, and especially as more stories come to light about the impact that fraudulent drivers are having to normal citizens, like the one about Americans getting W-2s and 1099s for gig work that they've never done. I think these gig app companies are going to have to take more ownership of resolving the problem, or at least doing more so that a federal authority can't sue them to say that they're not doing enough. Because, you know, we can't do class action lawsuits anymore, so we ain't going to be the ones suing them. And even though Walmart Spark now allows ID checks, I think in this current society that's very non-confrontational, generally liberal, I mean, I feel like half the states across the U.S., crime is basically legal now, so I don't expect Walmart to do much, especially when they're not going to be supported by the local, state, law enforcement and government. But if you happen to be in one of those cities and states or locales that does care about this thing and that is IDing people, two things. Number one, you should expect to make more money, I think, by reducing the amount of drivers on the platform and just having legit drivers on there, no bots, no fraud. In theory, you should be making more money. Also, number two, let me know in the comments down below. Are you in one of the cities and states, or are you at one of the stores that does ID, that is trying to actively reduce the fraud at their store? Let me know in the comments down below, because that's not something I see too often. So I would love to know that it's happening out there somewhere. But honestly, we wouldn't even be in this boat up Schitt's Creek without a paddle in the first place if it weren't for the proliferation of so many fraudulent Walmart Spark drivers and Walmart Spark bots. So if you want to learn more about why Walmart Spark drivers so badly need a cure in the first place, then watch this video now.